Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be interviewing Grace. How are you today, Grace?
I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. Just been traveling, but otherwise I'm okay. Just a bit, but I'm okay. I'm looking forward to this interview. Um, what's new? What have you been up to today, Grace?
Well, um, I took my daughter to her first Christmas party, so that was interesting.
Okay.
Because she's only 5 months old, so it was like a
Oh,
room full of babies
yeah.
and just
Oh,
tired mums. Like, why are we doing this? But it was nice.
good. Do you have, how many kids do you have?
Just the one.
Just the one. I see. Oh, nice. Oh, so 5 months. So
Yeah.
how how are How are you finding the challenges of being a reasonably new mum?
Oh, where do I even start with that one? um, nobody really nobody can prepare you for how hard it is.
Mhm.
Like I was super confident when I was pregnant because I was just like I could do this, like because I'm naturally quite nurturing and I've always been quite parental towards my younger sisters, and like I know the basics of how to care for babies and children practically. But
Mhm.
that's children that aren't mine, that's other people's children. When it's your own
Mhm.
baby, that's like so hard. The hardest part is like I can't eat and sleep properly because honestly, it's like they take over your life. Like this isn't my house anymore. It's her house. I just live here. It's kind of like that sort of thing. So it's like it's
Yeah.
so hard, like physically and emotionally. But at the same time, I don't want to sound cheesy. It's like so worth it. Like I can't remember what I did 5 months ago before she was here. I,
Yeah.
I genuinely can't remember my life. So
Okay. No, fair enough. Well, that's really nice. And are you do you have a partner?
yeah, I'm married.
Ah, wonderful. Okay, and what is it about your husband, assume husband, that has made you, you know, what brings you so close to your husband? What is it about him? I'm assuming it's a husband.
Yes,
Yeah.
husband. He's um he's a really kind person who um like I met him when I didn't really like myself very much and I didn't expect our date to go anywhere. I never expected we'd get married or anything like that. And he's kind of taught me that I'm worth more than what I do for people because I've
Mm.
always defined myself by how helpful and useful I am to the people and whether they like me and stuff like that.
Mm.
And he's taught me that I don't have to work really hard to get people to like me. I can just be me. Um,
Mm.
so there's lots of reasons why I love him, obviously, but that's the main thing that's kind of made me want to marry him. Makes him different from other people.
Okay, that's okay. And what is it about? Why did you need people to like you?
You know, I don't know. It's really, really silly, I think. Um, I'm just like so upset when people don't like me. Like as I'm
Mhm.
getting older, I understand it's not always personal, and you know, I don't like every single person I meet, and that it's more about me when I don't like them. I don't. It's like you know, people aren't obliged to like me,
Mm.
but I think it's more I get upset when I feel I've done nothing wrong. I was really nice, and somebody's just like been mean, and it's like I just find that very difficult to understand. Um, Especially if it's like in public. So say like it's in a work environment,
Mhm.
like I say it's a colleague. I just can't seem to please them or do anything right, and it's in front of other people. Um, yeah, I find that sort of thing really really difficult.
Mm. what is it about other people that makes that special?
I think maybe it's a bit of embarrassment. Like, it's attention on me that's negative, I guess.
Okay.
And if I think in terms of like a group setting, like work, or if it's in a friendship group and we're out or something, when somebody does that, it's hard for me to sort of save things. Like, it just goes really awkward, and then I'm like, a lot of pressure. I feel there's a lot of pressure on me that I'm probably putting on myself not to act like I'm upset and to just like carry on as if nothing's happened. But inside, I'm like, something's very much has just happened. They've been mean and I don't like it, but then I feel bad about how it's affecting other people, I suppose.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. And what was it about being helpful or useful to people that was important to you?
I suppose I really enjoy doing that for people. I do really enjoy making them happy. And I suppose, like, on a deep sort of level, when I was a kid, I was always like mini mom and kind of parental in that way, and I looked after my sisters, and I was always taught that was good, and I got approval for it. So I guess I've grown up to be like, oh, I must do this and this and this, and then I'll be good enough, sort of thing. So some of it is because I genuinely like doing it, and I have these impulses just to step in and help people. Even if it's just something small, like they seem anxious, and I will just like smile at them. It can be something little like that. But in some ways, I guess it's not so healthy. It is like, I sometimes define myself based on what I do for other people.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. And what are you doing when you feel that you're at your most confident?
I think I'm most confident. I'm trying to think of a time where I've been confident. I guess it's when I'm at work, because I look after like vulnerable people, and say if one of them's really struggling with confidence themselves, that motivates me to pretend I'm more confident than what I am. And I don't know, I just feel very like it comes very naturally to me. Like, I normally know what they need, and how I can help. And yeah, I don't know. I find it really, really easy at work just to understand how the other person's feeling and kind of what they need from me.
Okay, and taking out situations where people are being unpleasant, taking out those situations. What situations do you feel least confident, just in and of yourself?
I struggle. I've found, especially since having a baby, because like I'll try and take her out a lot. If people aren't receptive towards me, they're not necessarily mean, but especially if I walk into a mum group and I'm like being really nice and everything, and like they just won't talk to me, like not necessarily being horrible, or they're a bit distant, I find like it really stings. And like, oh gosh, I don't know what to do now, and I try something else, and like, oh no, that didn't work. Or if before I had a baby, and I suppose it's the same now, if I have to do something I've not done before in front of people, I hate it. to be fair, actually, I've found that while I've been a mom, like, because things are changing all the time. I'll have to do something new with her. And if it's in front of people, it's like, well, I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm doing because she's literally my child. But like, I don't know what I'm doing because I've never had a baby before, and all babies are different. And like, I worry people are looking and thinking, oh God, she's such a terrible mom, and what's she doing? And call social services or stuff like that. I don't know, especially if I'm out in public. I feel a bit self-conscious of that.
I see. Have you always worked in a nurturing sort of role?
Pretty much, yeah. When I was very young, I kind of started off in retail, and I hated it because we had to lie to people, even if they were like elderly or like quite vulnerable. And I realised I could never work in sales or something. I would like just ruin a business because people would ask me stuff, and I just say to tell them, don't tell anybody I told you, but you can go here and get it cheaper. And I know that's really not the idea. But I just couldn't lie. I couldn't sell the most expensive stuff because I just hated it. But then after that, I kind of like worked on hospital wards, nursing homes, and I work in community care now. So, and it's just like, it seems a natural fit for me to be in that sort of role.
Okay, that makes sense. Did you do university?
I tried. I hated it so much, and I felt so much pressure to like it. I went to university to do nursing, and I wanted to be a nurse. But I went when it changed from the diploma to the degree, and I felt so frustrated because the degree was they're trying to make it very, very academic. And then we'd be put on the wards, and I would have no idea what I was doing because I'd been writing essays about nonsense, doing exams about nonsense that I still needed to learn, but did need to take up an entire module. And then I go on the ward, and I didn't even know what like a fluid chart was or a sleep chart and all these basic things that I probably should have known, but we were never taught. And I found that so frustrating. I found it really annoying that I was a lot better on the wards, but nobody cared because my grades were average. So on a surface level, I guess I seemed like I wasn't as good of a nurse as some of the people in my class, and it would frustrate me because like we'd all be on placement together, and I don't want to like brag, but I was better with people, because like these were on like psychiatric wards as well, so it wasn't always easy to be super positive with people. And they were very, very unwell people. And whereas like my fellow students would sometimes get impatient or just, I felt, not deal with situations in a way that respected the other person, they were getting A's and stuff in their exams and essays. They were very good academically, which is fine, but they lacked the people skills. And so in comparison, I just felt like, well, I look like I'm crap. And it's not really fair. And I quickly realised nursing was not as hands-on as I thought it would be. I realised that the healthcare support worker sort of role was better for me because they do all the hands-on work. I don't want to be horrible about nurses. I think they're great, and I work with nurses, but I just didn't want that sort of role where you're like sort of a slave to the computer and paperwork and covering your back, and all like the red tape. It's like I want to actually go out with people, do things with people. So I realised about a year into my nursing that yeah, it really isn't for me, and I quit. And a lot of people got really like disapproving of that because it was like, oh, regress, and oh, you've ruined your life and all this. But like, I know I'd probably be on a lot more money if I was a nurse, and I probably could do it. So I watch nurses at work and thinking I probably could do that job, and I probably would have got an okay degree academically. But it just wasn't for me, and I'm not really motivated to be the highest pay band or a senior member of staff. It wasn't for me at all. So I had to make the decision to just quit that one.
Okay, that makes sense. And what is it about writing an essay that can be challenging for you?
It's boring. Oh my God, does anybody actually enjoy it? Does anybody enjoy it? Because you have to like, it's just, it's like, I felt like I'd learned loads, but my essay didn't reflect that because I felt like I was being made to write in a certain way and pretend not that I thought certain things, because you don't really put your opinion in there. And it would bug me, like where like I'd feel like the conclusion was obvious. And it's like, why do I have to go and look up studies to say this obvious thing is true? It's like, obviously, be nice to patients. Obviously, don't do that. Obviously, do this. Like, why do we need to, like, I don't know. I found it really frustrating. I found it a bit boring and a waste of my time.
Okay, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Grace, outside of work, what are your hobbies? What do you like to do?
Well, when my child's asleep, which is rare, I like writing, but I tend to write. I don't write fiction or anything because I don't have an imagination. I try to be all deep and stuff, and it's awful. But no, it's like a 12-year-old's written it, a pretentious 12-year-old. I'm like, oh God, no. So I tend to write about mental health, parenting, and things like that. I get paid a little bit for it, but not loads. But I don't really do it for that. It's a really nice outlet because I don't know, especially since becoming a mum, I could easily just be mum, very easily. But I don't want to do that. I still want to be me, and having like being able to write things and get them published, and it's always really nice when I get a lot of messages from other mothers saying that you've said stuff that I feel that I can't say, and that's really helped me. Because like I wrote something about you're not obliged to enjoy every moment of motherhood, and that it's really unhealthy. Like you didn't enjoy your life all the time before you had a baby, so like you're not a bad mom if you don't enjoy it when your baby poos all over you or is sick in your hair, or or like you don't even get to do things like have a shower or like the basic stuff you got to do before. It's completely fine if you're not happy with those sort of aspects and that you get down about it and things like that. Because I think there's a bit of a theme here. Like I want to help people with my writing. And like I write a lot about mental health and about things I've been through. And like, I've had a history of mental health problems, but now I work in mental health. So like, don't write yourself off as just because you have, a diagnosis. You're more than a diagnosis. You can do stuff that other people can do. And oftentimes I'd argue you could do it better. So yeah, I write about stuff like that. And oh God, this is like really boring, but I've got I have an interior design game on my phone. And if that's not stereotypical, I don't know what is. That might be the most stereotypical thing I've ever said about
So
That's just totally giving away my type.
how does interior design work? How does the app work?
I'm like, oh God, this is really embarrassing. Well,
Don't
you
worry,
have a pretend client who
Yeah.
wants certain things for their imaginary house.
Yeah.
In a certain style and stuff, and then I do it for them.
Oh, brilliant.
And I legitimately get annoyed. Like, there's like a ranking of top designers, and I'm like, how is that person ranked before me? Those colours do not go. They've not put any thought into that. And my husband's like, will you just like calm down? It's not real. But I'm like, it's outrageous. But it's really easy to do. Like, if my daughter's being really clingy and like she's lying on me, I can just like fiddle around and pretend I'm some really famous interior designer for a while she naps. But yeah, that is so sad. And I try to go running, but it's not particularly practical at the moment. But I find that it's really good for me. I feel better after I've done it. Whilst I'm doing it, I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Why didn't you just stay on the sofa? You're a mess. I'm just like so unfit. But after I've done it, I feel so much better. Especially mentally. And even though it tires me out, I have more. That probably sounds really strange, but it's something for me as well, on my own, and listen to my music and not have a baby screaming at me or my husband saying like, I don't know why she's crying, can you help? So like I have like time to myself, so that's quite nice. But I don't do as much as what I used to, but that's because I've got a baby. But I tried to do stuff. My husband's quite good in that he understands that I need a break sometimes, and I'll be like, oh, can you have her for a bit? And I'll probably just like have some time to myself, but I'm normally too tired to do anything fun or meaningful. So time to myself is me just collapsing into bed thinking, oh my God, what have I done? I'm not cut out for this. I'm so tired. But yeah, I probably sound completely boring, but that's what I do.
It doesn't sound boring at all. Okay, and so you talked a lot about interior design in your app. Have you ever done interior design off of home?
Only in my own house, and if somebody else asks me, I'm like, oh my God, yes, of course. If anybody asks me for advice on things or what to wear, like I'm so excited because I always want to do that, but I don't want to just go to somebody, oh, by the way, you should wear this, this and this, and you should, that cushion should go there, or something, because I think that's a bit rude. But so like if people ask me, I'll give some input. Like my sister went to uni and wanted to decorate a room, and like I went shopping with her and stuff. But that's about as far as it goes.
Okay. And what is it about, styles of dress and how a house should look like on the inside? What is it about that gives you a buzz?
I feel really irritated if it's not right. Like I feel so much better if the house is the way I want it and it looks nice. And especially with stuff I wear, I will feel, even if something is physically comfortable to wear, I will feel emotionally uncomfortable all day if I don't feel right in something. And I felt that way since I was a kid. It used to like really bother me when like my mom used to force me into certain clothes, and I hated them. And this is like, and that there was some shocking clothes. Like she had no taste. Or like they forced me to match my sister or something, and it's like, but we look completely different with different complexions. You can't put us in the same outfit. Oh my God! But yeah, I feel better mentally if my house is okay and I'm dressed a certain way as well. It's just important to me, not necessarily to have the most expensive things, because a lot of what I have is like secondhand off eBay. I love bargain hunting and stuff like that. But it's just like, I just think for the way it looks, it's just important to me.
Okay, makes sense. And what 3 words would people who know you well describe you with?
Most people say I'm nice, like nice, caring, like variations of that sort of word. Weird, because once you get to know me, like, I think I come across as quite normal at first, but a lot of people have said I had no idea how strange you were. And I don't know. Ooh.
3rd word. What is it?
Well, people, I don't know if I can't narrow it down to a word. There's probably a word for it, but I can't think of it right now. That I basically don't believe in myself enough. Like, my husband's always going on about it. Like, I don't give myself enough credit. Like, I'm quite self-deprecating, and I don't, like, with my writing especially, like, my husband will be like, why don't you send it to that person, or don't you pitch to that person? And I'm like, oh no, like, I'm not. They'll just laugh at me, and it's not good enough. And he's like, you don't know until you try, and you are good enough. And I guess, like, I don't really feel the same way about myself as other people feel about me. But I don't know what the word is for that. I don't know whether there is a word.
Self-deprecating. That's not quite right. It's
no.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. How easy is it for you to change your mind once you've made it?
It depends what it is. I think I would say I'm very understanding and fair, and I don't quite get it when people purposely just stick to something. Like, the hills some people will die on are just, like, amazing, just because they don't want to say, like, oh, okay, I never thought of that. So, like, I'm totally fine with people, like, making me think something in a different way. Like, I quite like it. But there's certain things where it's like, well, no, that's just not how it is. Like, I don't know. I can't really think of an example. Well, like, certain things about, like, I say about my child. Like, if somebody was like, oh, you shouldn't be giving her in that many hugs, I'll be like, go away, and then hug her. I'll hug you.
Yeah.
I'll change your mind. But like, certain things like that, like, I think are nonsense. But usually I'm like, I can normally see stuff from someone else's point of view quite easily. So I haven't got a lot of pride with somebody's like, oh, actually, this is in this. And I'm like, oh my God, I've been an idiot for years. I didn't even think of that. Like, I don't mind at all.
Interesting. Has someone actually told you shouldn't hug your baby as much?
Well, they say stuff like, well, like, I co-sleep with her, and that's not my choice. That's she's the boss. And it's all like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, she'll be co-sleeping with you when she's 15. And I'm like, well, I'd quite like that, because I'm basically Beverly Goldberg, and I want her to still hug me when she's 15 and get into bed. No, but, like, it's not going to harm her. Like, it's crueler when I try and make her sleep on her own. She's really distressed. She wants to be with me, and we do it safely. And I know what's best for my child. I don't want to be one of those moms, but in this case I will be. I know what's best for my child. And it's like stuff like that, and it's like, that's just, I don't know. I don't think they're trying to help me in trying to make me think differently. It's like they're just telling me what to do in a shaming sort of way. And I think it's when it's done like that, I feel a bit more like, I'll bugger off. I feel a bit more resistant to it. I'm like, that's for your benefit. You just want to feel good about yourself.
Okay, that's interesting. So I know you've said quite a bit in this interview that you haven't had the highest self-esteem, but it sounds as if
What gave you that impression? I'm so confident, cocky even, we could say.
But what I want to ask is, so what are the situations where you feel that you can stand up for yourself?
I've got to be really pushed.
Mm.
And somebody's got to really pee me off, like over and over again. Like if somebody's not, I suppose if somebody wasn't nice to my child, I would not even think about it. Because somebody just like kind of accidentally walked into a pram the other day and didn't say sorry, and I was like, well, you could have said sorry. And I was like, oh God, where did that come from? But I don't know. I don't really lose my temper. I normally try and diffuse the situation or just move away from it, or you know, I like a quiet life. Hence why I'm quite anonymous in typology communities. I just want to be left alone. I don't want conflict. But I think the last time I really lost my temper and told somebody where to go, it had taken like about 10 years of them doing my head in and being a bad person, basically, for me to be like, I've basically had enough. It takes a lot. I'm not one to fly off the handle. You've got to be a real asshole for me to get upset, or you've got to hurt somebody I love. Yeah, it has to be extreme cases.
I see. Okay, I'm trying to think of more questions I can ask you. I think. Where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
Oh God, I don't know. Hopefully alive. I don't really think about that because I felt pressured growing up to have a life's plan, and then it didn't work out, and I was like, oh, and it really bothered me. Like I didn't get it. So now I just like kind of take things as they come, and I'll think about the near future. Like 10 years is a long way away. Maybe I'll have another child. I don't know. I don't know. I don't really. I think more about, if I think about the future, I think more about my daughter's future really than my own. Like I haven't really got any ambitions to be anything. I'd ideally like to still be working in a caring profession, but I don't really mind what I do. Hope I'm still married and he hasn't run off. That'd be nice.
Sure.
I don't really think about it.
Okay, no worries. And where do you see your child in, I don't know, 20 years' time?
Oh my gosh. Hopefully she's happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mind what she does as long as she's happy. I don't have any rigid expectations. I don't mind if she goes to university. I don't mind if she doesn't. I don't really mind about anything as long as she's okay. And that we've got a good relationship. That's all I really care about. I just want her to be happy in herself.
I see. Fair enough. So I know you had a plan but didn't quite work. What was the full life's plan that you had?
Well, I was going to be a nurse and get married, have loads of kids, like the Waltons or something. I live on Walton's Mountain with loads of kids. Everything was going to be perfect. I'd be perfect. And then it was like, oh, crap. Life isn't like that. Because you're pressured, I think, from a young age. Like, you've got to know what you want to be very young and study that. And I realised when I was about 20, 21, that's just not how life works. and most things you fall into, I guess, and you find what you are passionate about along the way. Yeah, because I've just fallen into certain things that I've done, and yeah, and I think that's a better way to be. I just take things as they come.
Okay, makes sense. How do you like to learn?
I like to talk through it with somebody. It depends what it is. Like a mixture of talking it through with somebody and doing it. But I like to do it and then probably go back to somebody and talk through what I've done for reassurance. Not that I've got low self-esteem or anything like that. That's just a rumour. But I find I learn better by just keep practicing doing something, I guess. I find it hard to have to just like read something for ages. Like if I learn by reading, I have to talk to somebody about what I've read in order to learn about it. And have like a conversation with them about it. I think that's why I found uni really hard, because it's like I can't remember all this information in the way like they want you to learn it.
Makes sense. Okay, Grace, I think I have asked all the questions I would like to ask. I think that Josh Lee is gonna get his $5, assuming that people are willing to give him $5. Are you watching the comments?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think SEI is reasonably straightforward, Grace. And yeah, I think the main motivator I can pick out from this interview is this need for your immediate physical environment to be pleasant, to be easygoing, and that's very much in the sort of social aspect. So people being pleasant, people being kind, people showing positive emotion, you getting positive reactions rather than negative, awkward, unpleasant reactions from people. And rather than, with the case of an EII, I focus on what can I do to live to my highest potential or develop to be the best I can be. Rather than it being a focus on yourself and your personal development, it's a lot more on how can I please other people around me.
Yeah, definitely.
How can I create more positive, enjoyable, and fulfilling experiences? And there is, of course, a more moralistic dimension there. I think certainly you don't want to do wrong. You have an idea of what you're doing wrong by other people, and you have a strong feeling of that. So the introverted ethics is there, but it doesn't seem to be in the driving seat. It seems to be more backing up this need for positive and good feeling experiences, doing good things. I think it's quite clear also that sensory and ethical together as your areas of strength. That when you're learning, you need to be talking over with people. You're best cutting out the academic side and the facts divorced from experiences side. You don't process that well. Instead, you need to be doing things, practicing it with people, talking it through with people, and you're far confident in the actual doing of it with people, and quite what's the word? But with your own hands, with your own actions in that immediate experience, which is, I think, very much to go on is introverted sensation oriented and not extroverted logic oriented. I think that's
not at all.
I think there is some introverted logic as well. It's sort of the knowing what makes sense based on your personal lived experiences without any attempt to explain how it actually works. No, that's just not how it is. You won't explain how it would work and whether it would be more beneficial, productive, etc. You just know almost as a principle that that's not right.
Yeah, and I find it really difficult when somebody's like, "Well, why isn't it right?" And I'm like, it doesn't make sense. So why for it to not be right?
Yeah, right, exactly. It's not so much a sort of Here's the thing about introverted logic. It's often people don't not sure exactly how it appears with an SCI as opposed to say an IEI. IEI tends to be more intellectual, but for SCIs it's often not so intellectual. It's far more the lived principles of your experience.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be shown through fact. It's not about showing facts. It's about what you've experienced to be true and then putting together your rules from that. Yeah. And yeah, I think weak extrovert intuition is quite clear. I think your interests are very much around. There isn't a very broad scope of interest talked about. You also don't talk readily about your potential. In fact, I don't think you feel you have much potential.
And I've really struggled with seeing that. If people tell me, "Oh, you're really good at this," or "You'd be good at that," I'm like, "What?" That's a different language to me. But I like it when people do that as well, though.
Yeah, there's a receptiveness to that, receptiveness to new ways of thinking, new possibilities. I think that is quite clear. But again, it's not I couldn't see any of you bringing that for yourself.
No.
More suggestive function, and I put introverted logic as more of a mobilizing function, relatively speaking. Extroverted sensation. I think that makes sense for ignoring function.
Yeah,
it had to be an immediate unpleasant situation with someone you care about who's close to you for you then not to turn on. And it is there, but it comes out minimalistically.
Very much so, yeah.
It doesn't seem, when it does come out, to be inadequate. At least from the way you described it. It's more like you got that bark to you, but you just don't want to show that bark unless it's required.
Yeah, have to be really pushed.
It feels more like an ignoring function than a vulnerable function. When it is acted upon, it's adequate for the situation. And also there is some introverted intuition. I know Andre criticized me for using "what do you want to do in 10 years" as my introverted intuition question, but it does seem to me like you recognize there is a societal pressure to have a long-term idea of where things are going to go, of limiting your possibilities to an outcome, and that you reluctantly went along with it and it didn't work, so now you're just not doing it. And I think that's a lot more role than vulnerable. There's a recognition there that people expect you to do that, and part of your development has been not playing to that expectation, which I think is something just helped by, of course, someone else removing the need for it to be there at all. Could be the ignoring function of a dual. I'm trying to think what else there is there. Have I covered everything? I think I've covered everything. Yeah, I think I have. So those are my reasons for SCI.
Oh my god, that's such a surprise.
Really? I thought you already knew that you were an SCI. You just wanted some validation on that.
Yeah, I needed confirmation. Because sometimes I really doubt, like, oh, am I enough of this to be SCI? Or gosh, like I think what makes me doubt it is because I feel like in typical alpha sort of circles, I tend to be more, I don't know what the word is, but like more moral, I guess. Like, well, I don't think that's funny, or that was me, sort of thing. And then I think, oh, am I just not fun? Am I a serious type? Oh my god! But I don't know. I don't think that's type related. Sometimes.
Oh no, it is. I think it is.
It?
Oh okay. Yeah, no, because look, you're worrying about being boring, and you do complain of other things being boring, which I think is a good sign of extroverted ethics being valued, not extroverted logic being valued. But what you're talking about, the area you feel you're not being very alpha-ish, is introverted ethics, and that is fine. Like I often think I'm not being very alpha-ish because I'm being all efficiency focused. I'm like the ILE is probably the only person who is the only alpha for may call someone else a waste of space because they're evaluating with extroverted logic. So every alpha type is going to use their demonstrated function in and as a result, that means that in a limited way they'll appear not of their quadra. For you, it's from that personal, that doesn't feel right. That feels like a bad thing to do, assign a bad character. So you'll be aware of that and it'll be there. You just won't place the same valued emphasis on it in your communications and expectations of others.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because it's like, although I will say that or I'll feel that, I think it often still has like maybe alpha SF motivations behind it. Like, think about a group situation I was in before, like somebody was making a really like inappropriate joke over and over again that could have really potentially hurt other people. And I saw other people were uncomfortable and just felt like they couldn't say. And I was like, there's like a bunch of things that are actually funny that you could say, and that's not one of them. Like, just stop now, sort of thing. And then I went home and thought, oh God, am I actually like really strict and headmistress-ish or something? Am I SEI?
You can see how that is already couched in introverted sensation and extroverted ethics.
Yeah, it was about the environment. It was about the atmosphere, very much so. That I wanted to keep that nice atmosphere, and that person was spoiling it, basically. I think.
Exactly. So it's very much introverted sensation, extroverted ethics, and also introverted ethics there supporting.
Yeah. Okay.
More holistic lens to the environment, to the comfort and enjoyment and happiness of being in that moment.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense as to why I thought it was EII for ages, but I think I just really wanted to be one because I really like them.
I think it's easy for one to be confused with one's benefit type.
Yeah.
I think it's that easy. And I think that, see, the EII is going to be far more about their personal development and placing more of an emphasis on that, rather than, for you, it seems to be that there is an inherent collectivism. How you do it, rather than how can I change myself to best to be to flourish as a human being. It's more how can I make sure that everyone around me is having the best experience.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I don't know many EIIs saying that something is talking about things like studying and working are necessarily boring. It's for them, it's like an EII will be more receptive to that sort of extroverted logic, factual learning.
Yeah.
And they know what's relevant. They may worry themselves of, are they doing the best job they can in taking this information? But they won't say, oh, it's not interesting, and I'd rather be, living and breathing and experiencing it.
Yeah. It all seems so obvious now, like that. I'm like, how the hell was I so mistyped? Like, that's a little bit funny, really, but never mind.
Well, how do you think that you have changed since when you were considering EII for yourself?
I think I'm a lot more confident in myself now, and I think that's made a lot of difference. I think I was stupidly confusing extroverted, sensing vulnerable with feeling underconfident, feeling panicky, feeling scared and stuff, because I was really struggling with panic and anxiety at the time. And so, of course, I read stuff and I was thinking, oh, yeah, that's totally me. But it wasn't. And like I would read about SEI and think, oh, I'm not good at those things there. And I'm not good with people. And because like I lost my confidence. And so I think it was all very much to do with how I was feeling at the time rather than who I am. Which I think is easy done.
No, it makes sense. Certainly, I think certainly at least going a few years back, I don't think EII was as well understood as it is now.
No, I think there was a bit more of a stereotype around them as well. And I feel like I understand them a lot better, as one of my friends is EII, and whilst on the surface we seem quite similar, especially about both being like shy females, we're actually quite different in a lot of ways in terms of what motivates us. And I think sometimes when I make a joke, she's like, oh, sort of thing, like, oh, that was a bit. Then like he's like, oh, I can laugh, sort of thing. Like she's a bit like nervous herself to make a joke or to laugh or to join in a little bit. And I'm like, oh, you're so cute.
Yeah, to be fair, I have noticed that in some EIs, not all of them, but there are some where it's like, oh, like the idea of just laughing at something is not immediately natural. It's more,
it's like I couldn't possibly laugh.
The right thing to do? Is it the right thing to laugh?
Yeah, it's very much that. I think they worry and overthink those. It's so sweet.
I think it's the overthinking. It's the analysis paralysis. I found that sensitivity in you and and this desire to avoid unpleasantness, but I didn't see much sign of you getting caught up in analysis paralysis of speculating. Could it be this? Could it be that? Could it be this? You seem to be far more comfortable when you're actually just doing.
Yeah, I think when I'm like that, that's when I'm not at my best. I'm not at my healthiest. So I'm like constantly thinking, oh, could it be this? Could it be that? And overthinking myself. I don't think it's in the same way as an EII does in general. I think that's more to do with like how I'm just feeling about myself. Like under normal circumstances, I'm not really. If I overthink anything, it's what somebody else has done or what I've said to somebody, and like, did I sound stupid? Or it is that it's all about other people normally.
Okay. Okay, well, that makes sense, Grace. I don't think anything else to discuss, but do you have any questions for me? Just while you've got, 8.5 minutes left.
I can't think of any. There's one thing I have been told before. Like people have been like, "Where's the extroverted ethics?" Like in me. But I think they might have been confusing someone being quite shy with, because I would say I'm emotional and I'm expressive, but in an understated, quiet way.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that came across at all.
Oh, I think extrovert ethics came across quite a bit, but
good, okay.
The thing about creative function is that it supports the leading function.
Yeah.
So you're interpreting these physical, sensory, in the moment experiences, and you're seeing it through a very social lens. How are people reacting? Are people being rude? How are people behaving?
Yeah.
Very much. And that's all very much an extroverted ethics territory. And yes, introverted ethics is being balanced with it, but it's still there. There's not, with an EII, for instance, you'll see an emphasis on introverted ethics without very much extroverted ethics. It's not really about how people are behaving. It's about what their character is almost divorced from their behavior. But for you, the behavior, the mood, the reaction, is that polite? Was that rude? Was that that sort of aspect is virtual extroverted ethics with introverted sensation. And you have this, you do have that sort of, there is an expression. You have me laughing quite a few times. There's a clear showing of humor. There is a brightening up of the conversation.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah, so I can see extroverted. It's just it's not overt, and it's not meant to be a creative function. It's not a bold function. It's a cautious function. So it's going to be supporting rather than taking front stage compared to your leading function. Yeah, and you can see with the leading function that was your stronger opinions about things.
Yeah.
Introvert sensation oriented, like with interior design, like with taste. It's coming out quite a bit there. So yeah, no, I think extrovert ethics is there, definitely.
Okay, that's all I can think of. But yeah, thank you. You've explained it all in a way that makes sense, and yeah, I like things to make sense, as we established. And it just like I needed this confirmation that I am SCI, even though I think everybody else is probably thinking, well, yes, of course you are. You literally have an interior design app that you take really seriously.
That's the sort of thing actually Zara will go gaga over. She loves nothing more than going to like a big shop like Le Creuset and just looking at all the crockery and all the different colors and thinking about what she's going to put into a new house.
Oh my gosh, yes.
In her utterly in her element. She loves it.
Yeah.
Utterly loves it.
Yeah. Oh, that just sounds lovely.
Yeah. I think I might introduce you to my fiance. Would you like to meet my fiance?
Yeah,
I know
that'd be lovely.
you sound quite British, so I imagine you're in the same country as me. So, yeah, that's good. Okay, Grace, thank you so much for coming to this interview,
That's okay.
and thank you everyone else for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you.
I hope you have a very good night.
And you. Bye.
Bye bye. Take care.